Hello, welcome to this week's Private Funds Update. I'm Johnny from SmartEsq. This week, my colleague Sandra is off to pre-celebrate the International Women's Day, so I'm standing in for her. Here's what we learned at SmartEsq this week. We start with a significant procedural shift in Washington. On February 27, 2026, the SEC's Division of Enforcement released a comprehensive update to its enforcement manual. This is the first major revision under the Atkins administration, and it codifies the constructive dialogue doctrine we've been tracking. This isn't just a technical refresh, it's a pivot toward process fairness. The updated manual introduces stricter oversight on the issuance of subpoenas and provides more transparency around the Wells process, allowing firms a clearer view of the staff's evidence before a formal charge. Crucially, it emphasizes cooperation credit for firms that self-report and remediate compliance failures. For general counsels, this suggests a more predictable, less ambush-style enforcement environment. However, the manual also doubles down on document preservation, particularly regarding off-channel communications. The message is clear. The SEC will be more fair in its process, but it expects absolute transparency in return. Moving to the credit markets, a recent SEC enforcement action against a credit fund advisor serves as a timely warning for private debt managers. The SEC charged the firm over its pricing practices in principal transactions, specifically moving assets between funds during a period of extreme market dislocation. The SEC's core allegation was that the advisor used stale or smoothed valuations to price these cross-trades, failing to reflect actual market volatility. This case fully aligns with the SEC's 2026 examination priorities, which target the valuation of illiquid assets. If you are moving an asset from Fund A to Fund B to provide liquidity, the price must be defensible by independent contemporaneous data. You cannot rely on internal models that ignore external market signals. For private credit GPs, this is a valuation smoothing red flag. The SEC is signaling that fair value is a functional requirement, not a discretionary one, especially when you are trading with yourself. On the reporting front, the SEC officially adopted final rules on February 27, 2026, under the Holding Foreign Insiders Accountable Act. This marks the definitive end of the Section 16 reporting free pass for foreign private issuers. Mark your calendars. The new requirements go into effect on March 18, 2026. This is a major shift for private equity firms with personnel serving on the boards of non-US companies listed on US exchanges. Crucially, the new rules apply only to directors and officers of FPIs. 10% beneficial owners remain exempt from Section 16 reporting for these entities. Furthermore, the SEC has preserved the exemption from Section 16B, short swing profit liability. For GPs, the immediate priority is operational. You must identify all personnel serving as D&Os on FPI boards and begin the process of obtaining EDGAR codes via Form ID, which requires collecting sensitive personal data like SSNs or passports. You also need to implement a strict trade tracking system to meet the 2-business-day filing deadline for Form 4s. The reporting burden is now identical to domestic issuers, even if the short swing profit disgorgement sting is not. Finally, a follow-up on our prior reporting regarding the CFTC. On February 24, 2026, the CFTC issued No Action Letter 2060-06, which provides a formal framework for SEC-registered advisors to consider the reinstated 413A4 exemption. This relief addresses the technical hurdles for RIAs looking to move away from CPO registrations by potentially removing the 5% de minimis US trading limit for commodity interests in sophisticated funds. While we are seeing some firms begin the evaluation process with the NFA to streamline their administrative footprint, this isn't a one-size-fits-all move. If your fund structure aligns with the QEP standards, it's worth a conversation with counsel to see if this specific relief offers a viable path to reducing your current compliance overhead. That's it for this week. You can learn more about these topics from me on the SmartEsq platform. If you are curious about the services we offer, please visit www.smartesk.ii.